I love like reading the comments of these videos. I absolutely love going through it, getting feedback, criticism, both positive and negative. And then really, if there's any questions that I see coming up a lot, I like to answer. And so one question that I got, and I think it's going to be a really good topic, especially for a lot of you guys who want to be a pro, is like, why do I never stay at the same club, for more than a year? Is that by choice? Is that because I'm always looking for something new? I want it. So I think that's a really, really good topic. I can't always respond to every single comment, but I really do. I think I read probably like 75 to 80% of all the comments in every video that I try. I think I miss a few, but if you have any questions that are popping up that you want me to answer, or video topics or anything, comment section, I really do try to read as many as possible.
Why do I never stay at a club or a team for more than 9 months or more than one season? I'm always jumping around, and people are asking if that's the best thing to do, or they're just curious as to why I'm doing it. And it is pretty interesting because over the last four years or so, I've been on 5 different teams and I've played in 3 different countries. And the first answer to this question is I'm either progressing or I'm regressing. That's pretty much why majority of the time I'm searching for a new team. So after I was done with my 4 years of college, I had to find a new team. It was required. You can't go any longer than 4 seasons at a university unless you redshirt, which I did not. So immediately I'm looking for a team. I bounced all the way, I bounced everywhere, but I ended up at Sacramento Republic as a practice player. I was a practice player there. I only got into 1 exhibition game, and it didn't look like they were really committed to signing me for the next season. So after 9 months there, I needed to progress. I needed to get some game times, and I wanted to go abroad to find some high-level team where I had connections, which was over in Germany, to try to find some team to play. And that's why I left America to go to Germany. When I was over in Germany, I bounced around with a lot of 4th and 5th division teams, but the team that actually offered me the contract was down in the 6th division, SK Kinzenbach. And it wasn't the most professional setup, but they gave me an apartment and they gave me a place to stay, and they allowed me to be there for the end of the season. And once that was up, I had an opportunity with a fully professional team, the Orange County Blues, in the 3rd division of U.S. professional soccer at the time, which was in a fully pro league. And just, you have games where you're playing in front of thousands of people. So that was a full jump up. I went over to Orange County, I trialed, and I made the team. I signed my first fully professional contract in a fully professional league, and I was stoked. So I progressed up from being a practice player to actually signing a contract somewhere, then progressed up to a higher level, a fully professional league, and signed my first fully professional contract. And I had a great season in Orange County. And the next season, I was offered a bigger contract with a more established and professionally run USL team. That was at St. Louis FC. St. Louis FC offered me a bigger contract. They offered me the chance to play in front of thousands of more fans with its own facilities, and it just was a better setup. So again, I progressed from Orange County Blues up to St. Louis FC. So every single year that so far I'd been progressing. I was feeling really good. So that's why I was leaving the teams over the last 3 years at the time. And then at St. Louis FC, I didn't have the best season. I had suffered tons of injuries, dislocated toe, sprained ankles, and then ultimately got the injury that put me out for the rest of the season and then put me out for 10 months, requiring 2 surgeries. And that's at that time, St. Louis FC didn't offer me another contract for the next year. The coach was fired. Everybody basically left, and I was contractless. So it wasn't my decision at the time to not go back to St. Louis FC. I would have gone back if they would have offered me a contract. So at this time, I was regressing. I was starting to dip back down, and that's when I went down to New Zealand. They offered me a place to stay, a place to rehab, and a place to continue to play versus doing nothing and sitting on the couch while I waited to rehab. So going to New Zealand and going from a new team after St. Louis FC was a regression. Like, I went down from the injury. I still was able to get paid to play and to live and to continue to play soccer and just to do what I love. And then after the season down in New Zealand, I want to progress again back up into the fully professional league in the USL or an equivalent league around the world, or USL League One or whatever. So basically it's all been either progression or regression and then back to progression. So that honestly is the main reason why I've been moving around so much, and I have never stayed at a club for more than a season. The second reason is this honestly is just kind of how it works in the lower leagues of professional soccer around the world, especially in the US. It can happen to get 2 and 3 year contracts. I have heard of it and I have seen it before. Usually there's a couple guys on every team, but majority of the guys, especially if you're not one of the leading goal scorers or just a solid goalkeeper that they want to keep for a long time, usually, especially if you haven't really established yourself in the league year after year after year, usually you're on 9-month contracts. That's just how it works in the USL. It's not like Europe where they're offering 5 or 4-year contracts, and investing in the long term. Unfortunately, it's really fast turnover. And that's just honestly the reality of lower league professional soccer, especially in the US. The third and final reason, which kind of ties into the second one, why they give 9-month contracts, is because there's constant turnover all the times with teams. It's crazy how different teams look year by year by year. For example, the 2018 Sacramento Republic team, in comparison to the 2015 Sacramento Republic team, just a 3-year difference from when I was on it till now. There's only 2 guys that were on it back in 2015 that are still on it today. And out of the 2 guys, one of the guys actually went to Sporting Kansas City and was between them and Swope Park Rangers for a year in between. So out of that entire 2015 Sacramento Republic team, only 1 guy has stayed there for all 3 years. If we look at the 2016 OC Blues team when I was there versus the Orange County Soccer Club today, they have a full rebranded. They got new ownership. They're even a different name of the team. Again, only 2 guys that played with me on the 2016 team are still on the team today. And again, one of those guys, Matt Bierman, went over to St. Louis FC with me in 2017. So again, just 1 guy from 2016 is still on the team in 2018. 1 guy in 2 years. If you think that's crazy, look at 2017 St. Louis FC versus today, 2018 St. Louis FC. The difference between 2017 and 2018 is 1 year, that 1 year. But again, there was only 2 guys that returned from the 2017 team back for 2018. And in addition to that, there was just a completely different head coach and coaching staff. So the lower leagues of professional soccer, especially in America, the USL, there's a lot of constant turnover. People are always switching teams, and it's pretty crazy. There are definitely exceptions to the rule. I know many guys that have been at the same club for years and years and years. I know guys who have signed 2-year contracts. I know guys that have signed 3-year contracts, but that definitely is not the norm. There's a lot of turnover, which makes it stressful. It makes it very unstable. It makes it very hard for the players and coaches alike. But what are you going to do? That's the reality of it. And I just wanted to answer that question, give you guys some context of why I've been moving around so much. Ideally, of course, I'd sign a 5-year contract for Arsenal. But those are pretty hard to get.